I'm Dr. Morgan Levine. I'm a professor who specializes in biology of aging.
Meet Dr. Morgan Levine, a former Yale professor and currently a founding principal investigator at Altos Labs. Altos Labs is a new $3 billion anti-aging biotech startup whose funders are said to include Jeff Bezos. Dr. Morgan is an expert in molecular mechanisms that affect biological aging.
Biological age, we actually think, is malleable. We know that aging can be slowed. We see this when comparing across species. Species don't decline all at the same rate. Some of them actually do this at such a slow rate, what we call negligible senescence, that we actually can't observe aging in those systems. So chronological age is what it says on your driver's license. However, this is different from what we call biological age, which is really measuring the state of the organism. We might say that even though you're chronologically 50 years old, you have a biological state that actually resembles someone who's more like a 60-year-old. And what that means is we can actually slow the rate at which these changes accumulate, or maybe even reverse them and go back to a better functioning state. And with that, we would actually give people more years of life without the painful parts of aging.
Biological age reflects how our body is functioning and is influenced by our lifestyle choices. It is more indicative of the risk of disease or death than chronological age, as it is not chronological time that drives the development of disease, but rather the biological changes occurring among the molecules and cells in our bodies. Most people's biological age is generally within plus or minus 5 years of their chronological age, but there can be outliers of up to 10 years or more. Unlike chronological age, biological age is modifiable. While we still do not know how to alter it most effectively, it is possible to slow down or even reverse this process based on our behaviors. The first step is to obtain a reliable measurement, which is something Dr. Morgan's lab is working on.
Can we measure biological age? If you've already visited your doctor and you've got an annual blood test, you probably can get your phenotypic age test for free. So there are online calculators that list the 9 biomarkers that you actually need to calculate your phenotypic age. These are freely available on the web. So all you would need to do is go and find your most recent lab test, input the values, and the algorithm will actually produce a phenotypic age measure for you. So can we reverse aging?
One notable thing she emphasized is that lifestyle changes, such as eating habits, can help us maintain health.
Lifestyle right now is our best ticket in terms of slowing our aging process. So you can actually boost things like resilience through different lifestyle behaviors.
In this video, Dr. Morgan will delve into 4 immediate lifestyle changes that can effectively decelerate the aging process. Let's start with the crucial aspect of exercise.
Exercise, I think, is such a simple thing that so few people, everyone's waiting for the magic pill. Exercise is amazing. It makes you feel good. For me, trying to maintain an active lifestyle as much as possible, I like to do things that just are fun, so hiking or, any of these classes, but probably if I were thinking the most beneficial, probably things like HIIT, is try to do that as much as I can.
High-intensity interval training, HIIT, incorporates rounds that alternate between minutes of high-intensity movements to significantly increase the heart rate to at least 80% of one's maximum heart rate, followed by short periods of lower-intensity movements. This approach was first introduced in the 1950s as a higher-intensity form called sprint interval training, which reached 100% maximum heart rate and was used to improve the performance of elite Olympic athletes. Now, let's explore 3 ways of eating that can help boost your health.
There are really 3 components of diet that seem to be impacting aging. So the first is how much we eat, the second is what we eat, and the third is when we eat. So in terms of how much we eat, a lot of science went into this idea of caloric restriction. Caloric restriction isn't starvation. It's usually just about a 20% reduction in the overall calorie intake. People have seen that when animals are caloric restricted, they tend to live longer. We're actually more prone to overeating. So some researchers have figured out that it might not be the caloric restriction that's actually the beneficial thing. So even if you can't restrict your calories, just moving away from overeating is probably going to have a beneficial effect for most people. The other thing that's been studied is this concept of what we eat. A lot of research has gone into whether things like a plant-based diet are actually beneficial to aging and longevity. And there seems to be some evidence that eating less animal products, more fruits and veggies, more whole foods is going to be better overall. Longevity science says plant-based diet is probably the best diet.
So, what does Dr. Morgan Levine actually eat?
I eat, I would say 90 to 95% plant-based. I do eat some fish. try to keep kind of like a Japanese type diet.
The traditional Japanese diet is considered one of the healthiest in the world, contributing to low rates of obesity and hormonal diseases in Japan. It mainly consists of rice, local vegetables, and fermented foods, such as miso soup and pickled vegetables, which favor digestive health. For more information on the Japanese diet, check out my video about Japan's oldest fitness instructor, Takashi Mamika-san, who is 92 years old.
The third comes down to when we eat, and this is really a new field in aging and longevity science. But what scientists found is actually fasting can mimic some of the benefits that we've seen with caloric restriction. So if people can perhaps minimize their eating to a small window, we think that this can actually recapitulate a lot of the benefits that we're seeing in the caloric restriction studies.
So in terms of what we eat, how and when does Dr. Morgan Levine actually feed herself to maximize the benefits?
And then I do intermittent fasting where I don't eat until usually like 1 o'clock. Again, that I think we don't know for sure whether that's beneficial, but for now, just sticking to it, seeing.
On average, only 10 to 30% of our lifespan is attributed to genetics, meaning our aging primarily depends on our behaviors. By practicing exercises that increase heart rate and blood circulation, avoiding overeating, and adopting a predominantly plant-based diet with time intervals, we can slow down aging, which is the root cause of many diseases. If you like the content, don't forget to leave your like, subscribe to the channel, and turn on notifications so you don't miss anything. Feel free to leave in the comments who you'd like to see here in our upcoming videos. See you next time.